I just hope it does it, you know. Like that's what I'm hoping that it does what. Okay. And if it doesn't, I'm just gonna record it with my phone as well. Just in case it doesn't do whatever. So.
Really?
I have to record everything.
Sorry. Maybe
Okay.
we just climbed out of her crib and unplugged the monitor.
Okay,
Hold
so
on. Here's that.
so I'm recording it with my phone as well.
Okay.
So I guess we can start, and I'll try to send this video to the professor. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we'll just start like this. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what was wrong with
Yeah, it's okay.
what's wrong with it. Okay. So, well, you guys know my name, Jessica. And today we had to talk about Pink and Say. Do you guys want to start with that one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. What did you guys think of it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. I liked it because I felt like that I like books that you can use to integrate two different subject areas. So I like the fact that brought history into the book. I really like when books they like present history in a fashion that's like true. So your class is actually learning something. And I like that it brought it into like, I don't know, like a story that isn't obviously necessarily like a true story about two like historic people, but it's based on like true things.
Right. Yeah, at first when I read the title, I thought it was going to be like a more, I don't know, like a fictional kind of thing. Like, but I actually thought it was interesting too. Like, I didn't understand why the book was called Pink and Say till I realized that was their nickname.
Yeah.
Right. And was one African American?
Yeah.
Yeah, huh. And then the other one was...
Yeah, because his family was...
slaves. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
One thing I really thought was cool, like, to tie into the work, like, from last week were the illustrations, like, how he's really been having us, like, look at, like, the different illustrations of things and, like, the way things are, like, they're drawn for a purpose. They're drawn to put you there in that time, like, to help you visualize what you're reading. And I thought they were really, really good, like, to match with everything that was going on. Like, it just really helped you, like, put it into perspective. Even, like, as a child, like, you could do that, like, because your imagination, I mean, you have a big imagination as a kid, but that just, like, gives you even more to think about.
Yeah, right. And I feel like even though this book is kind of aimed at an older audience, like, it still incorporated those pictures and still made sure that it was important that their audience got, like, that visual. Yeah.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting, too, that the author, like, at the end, how she says, like, before you put this book down, say his name out loud and vow to remember him always. Like, I thought that was so cool. I was like, wow, she's, like, speaking to her audience, and you don't really find that in books.
Right. I found that interesting, too. And the story towards, I don't know, because it says that, that Say told Pink and his mother that he shook the hand of Abraham Lincoln. Like, it seemed like it was something that was important for him to let them know that, to kind of show that he was, you know, like he cared about what they were going through.
Right.
Yeah. It was kind of sad that they hanged Pink.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I don't know.
That they put that in the book. I was like, wow, okay. But then at the same time, it's like, it's being realistic, you know, and that's taken away from like the fiction. So I thought that was
Right.
good.
That's true.
Especially since like it really happened in history, and I think people tend to forget about it, and it's good to bring it up just so people know like what people really went through and what they had to deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think too that it gives like more of a connection. Like it makes it more interesting for kids, like as something in history, and to be like more involved and to
Right.
understand better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is important because a lot of kids don't know much about history, or they take it lightly, or they don't really
Yes.
find
They don't
something.
understand the true meaning, like what really happened. Like they don't pay attention.
Or even just like their own history, like we learned so much about how like culture, and even this week how like culture is represented in books, and like that was really big in this book. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was good too. I don't know if anything else you guys want to say about that book.
I thought it was interesting that after a few days of being with his family, he considered himself their family. Sorry, I'm sick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that was like, I think it adds more of a, like an emotional thing to the story
Mm-hmm.
versus like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what happened, but more like the connection with,
Right.
It takes away from just being like facts.
right,
Turns it into like a story.
right. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, the same thing, like you said about earlier about the illustrations too. I think that because they're integrated so well, and the same thing like with culture, like that really helped to bring it out in the story, like the illustrations.
Right.
Oh, Alicia.
I don't know what happened.
You're good.
I'm like, oh, there you are.
I was talking, but you could hear me. It just my face wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, hello, and
Hi again.
so do you guys want to talk about the next one, Inside Out and Back Again?
Yes.
Okay. What did you guys think about that one?
I liked it. I read it last night and I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was different because it just wasn't like a story.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like almost like her journal or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I thought. If it wasn't written kind of obviously like in poems, it felt like it was just her telling her story, like you were reading her diary.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's different than just reading like a novel.
Right.
It was like more interesting, more like had a more personal touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting too that like obviously because it's written in like a poem form, it puts more emphasis on English, and like the whole book is written about how she struggles with like her role as like an ELL person. And but obviously like haiku is really big in that culture too. So I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. It's like a little thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the book, it really does open your eyes to like culture. That was like a big thing that played into it, and like obviously gender roles too. How she's
Right.
like talking about how she wants to be able to like play like the boys and stay calm when her brothers tease her and all that stuff.
Right. And I also thought it was interesting how when she moved to America, where she moved to the community didn't really accept her culture, or like she felt like I wrote down here like they were ridiculing her for who she was, like how she was with her culture, and that's kind of sad. I mean, when you move from like your own, you know, home where you were born and raised, and then come to a place and then not feel accepted, you know, I think it must be really hard.
Especially because you think that you are going to be accepted since, you know, the country let you in, and you have one person who's nice, but everybody else just treats you bad.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Right, especially considering the fact that a lot of people from different places wanted to come to the U.S. because it was like this melting pot. And so for her to come over here and feel alienated was kind of like, I was like, wow, like it really does open your eyes to culture shock.
Right.
I think too, like it's sad that they were in Alabama, like they're very, very like they're still they think that from old times. Like my family's from Alabama, and I know the way they are. Like
Yeah, very
to be
traditional.
in a place like that, it's not a welcoming country or a state. It's not very like, oh yeah, sure, you're from another country, sure, come on over. Like they're not very welcoming. So I can only imagine how her and her family felt. You know.
Right. I
Like
can.
the guy's wife, the guy that sponsored them, how his wife didn't even want them like in her house or anybody to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then I was a little bit confused as to so their father was missing, right?
Yeah.
I just forgot how he was missing.
He went to war, and
Okay.
then I think he was just killed at some point, but they never found him. So
Oh, that's sad. Yeah. I think that also would. I mean, throughout the story, they kind of had hope that they would reconnect with him or find him, and
yeah, but I think it was like 10 years because she was 10, and then she said her dad left when she was 1.
Yeah,
It was
and
like 9 years that they were waiting.
but then I was confused too because then she said at some point like she wished her father would show up and make her mother happy again, and then I was just like, wait,
yeah,
when did your dad disappear?
yeah. That's why I was like, I wasn't sure. Like, I was kind of confused about that part too.
Like I think it was he disappeared and they assumed he was dead, but there was no proof,
Mm-hmm.
no body or anything. So they just had hope that he would come back, that maybe he just got lost or whatever.
Mm,
Yeah.
I see. So, anything else?
I mean, these books aren't that long, so it's like really easy to go over them quickly.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's supposed to be like super long.
yeah. So far we have 11 minutes, so
It's probably good.
we're pretty good on that. So I'm going to start recording then. Should I? Okay. All right. So sorry about the recording thing. I don't know. I
You're
don't
good.
know.
At least we figured it out. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to send him the video from my phone, and he'll see that we tried, that I tried.
Just let him know that it wouldn't record for some reason.
Yeah.
That's weird though, 'cause I haven't had a problem with it.
And I was like, I'm gonna do this early, and I couldn't get it, and I don't know what. This is what I was afraid of, having these issues. But so who's the next one for next week? Any takers?
I can do it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
It's a book of coupons, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
All right,
All
guys.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.